SpongeBob SquarePants. Is there anything that he can't do? Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to an all-new Talkin Movies. As always, I'm your host, the real Gino Reynolds, and today we're going to be talking about the latest horror movie to actually make it to theaters. Today we're going to be talking about Come Play. What this movie is about, it's about a young boy with autism, and the only way he can communicate is through electronics with like an app that can kind of talk for him. He's doing speech therapy and another kind of therapies and stuff like that, but it's not really connecting with him. His mother is on the outs with his dad because it seems like all the work is on her, and the dad, in a way, he kind of comes off as, he's not a bad dad, but he's the kind of dad that kind of swoops in and becomes the hero for the kid. He works a lot, but he isn't really paying much attention to the things that it takes to raise a special needs kid. So a lot of the burden's on the mom, and the kid hasn't really connected with the mom. He knows it's his mom, but the example is he's never looked her in the eye, which granted, kids with autism some don't do that a lot. So anyway, he's a very lonely kid, and you find out later in the movie why. Not just because of his special needs. There were some incidents that happened earlier in the kid's life. I don't think they really specify how long ago it was, but I don't think it was too long ago. But as he's using this device, all of a sudden, this device uploads like an ebook, and it's about a creature, a misunderstood monster, I believe was the name of the book, Misunderstood Monsters, and Larry is the monster. And as you read the story, this story is inviting Larry into our world, and that's the basic setup of the movie. Now, critics they're tearing this one apart. They're not ripping it apart as much as some movies, but it's definitely not getting a lot of love. Now, I'm not going to say that this was like this original movie and that it recreates the horror genre or anything. No, a lot of what's in this movie, some of the jump scares and things like that, the creature isn't that original. I mean, not wearing a suit or anything, but it almost looked like what would happen if Slender Man was hunched over and naked. It would be what Larry is. Not saying it's a bad looking creature or anything. It's not great, but it's not the most original. And again, the storytelling from a horror standpoint isn't original either. But what I do want to talk about is going to require me to spoil a lot of the movie. So I will tell you this, rental at best. And I'm not saying I'm going to be generous. I appreciated this movie, I think, more than a lot of people would. But that's more from personal experience. Again, I'm going to talk about that in a second. So while I, for the most part, enjoyed and appreciated parts of this movie, I will tell you this. I didn't like the ending. I think the ending could have been better. I think the scenes before the ending could have been better. Even though the ending didn't go the way I was afraid it was going to go. But I think a lot of people wouldn't like the ending at all. I mean, I think people would actually hate this ending. And so that's why I can't, even though I have some appreciation for this movie, I can't recommend it really as anything more than a rental or free on like Netflix or something. So yeah, I don't really recommend it. But now I'm going to talk about this movie because, granted, I mean, come on, no, not a lot of people are going to see this anyway. So, granted, I will say, other than New Mutants, at at the AMC theaters anyway. There was some, there was a decent amount of people when I was doing movies at the Avon when they opened, but other than New Mutants, this one actually had more than one person there. There was like 3. So I think maybe 4 and then me. So 5 people. Ooh. But anyway, yeah, I don't think people are going to rush out to go see this. So I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to talk about it openly, and I'm going to talk about it with spoilers. So, yeah, if you don't want any spoilers, any real spoilers, I don't really recommend it. But if you want to hear why I got some appreciation out of it, stick around. Here's the thing. Many of you know that I am the father of a special needs kid. My son Andy has what's called Champ 1, and it's a pretty rare disorder where it has bits of autism and bits of this and bits of that. And so as a father of a special needs child, I could get some appreciation out of this movie because your protagonist is a special needs child. And also your other protagonists are the parents. Now, I will say this. I know it could have gone either way. But why does it always have to be the father is the one that doesn't pay attention? I was actually, he's the, he swoops in and the kid thinks he's the hero, even though he's not really helping out with the raising of him. It could have gone either way. And I know it's a story they chose to tell, but in a way I was a bit insulted because with my son, I was there, I work, right? I work. So of course I'm not there when I'm working. But when I'm there and I'm helping, right? So I was a little bit insulted. But again, the story they chose to tell, I'm not holding that against the movie. It's just it always seems like it's got to be the dad that's the lazy one, right? Granted, I actually liked the dad's story arc in the end. So, and again, I'll get to that because I am going to spoil the ending of this movie. The mom is the one that's having to deal with everything, and yet the love from the kid comes more, he's more, he grabs onto his dad and gives him hugs and stuff like that, but he doesn't really interact with his mom that way. So she's really worn down. Again, it's wrecking their marriage. The kid notices that the dad's that they've packed boxes, and he asks if they're moving. But it, of course, turns out the dad's moving out. So from a family standpoint, I'm appreciating the story so far because, yes, raising a special needs kid is hard, okay? And it is very hard, and it's hard to this day. Again, many of you that have, either talked to me off of this channel or stuff I've talked about on this channel, sometimes it's not easy to raise a special needs kid. I love my son tons, right? I love him, but it ain't easy sometimes. I know it's not easy to be a parent anyway. But then you tack on quirks you don't understand and things like that, and it's difficult. So I understood the parents' plight here. Then you bring in a monster, but we'll get to that. So I appreciated the story. The kid does start reading this book, and the whole thing is you have to finish the story, and then this monster's able to come out through the electronics. See, it's all with electronics and TVs and phones and stuff that are supposed to be like the window to this creature to come through. And it also, though it can interact with things in the real world, it can't totally be in the real world until the story is finished and it's gathered enough power. And what it's wanting to do is it's wanting to take the boy. The mom says, "Don't kill my son," and it's like, I'm not going to kill him. It was actually talking through the kid's app, which was kind of creepy. It's saying, I'm not going to kill your son, I'm going to take him. And the whole story is the monster offers the kid a friend forever, right? And then it takes its hand and takes it to its world, and the kid's gone forever. And it preys on lonely kids, which our main character, Oliver, is very lonely because we find out that earlier Again, I don't remember how long ago it was. It couldn't have been too much. These kids are very young. He's friends with this other kid, and Oliver, again, a special needs kid, sometimes they lash out. Sometimes things happen and they get upset about something and they lash out. He hits this other kid that's his friend, and his mom lies to him about this other kid not wanting to be his friend anymore. She just thought she'd make it easy, try to be easy and say, I got to get him away from it. It's this whole story of the mom lies to the kid. And even the kid that he hit, it's weird because the kid that he hit and his friends become like Oliver's bullies. And I'm not going to lie, when they take him out to an empty field and throw his phone away, which of course I knew was going to come back in the plot later. And I kind of wish it didn't. I was fine that it did, but if the ending would have been better, it would have been okay. But they throw his phone in the middle of a field and shove him down and leave him in the middle of the field, and the kid don't know where he's at, so he just starts screaming. Man, I never wanted to see Larry come out and grab some kids so bad in my life. But, you end up sympathizing with the kids, especially the one that was his friend, because you find out that he really did like Oliver. And I don't really understand why he was picking on him. Because he seems to be like the leader of the bullies. I don't know. It just, that part kind of didn't make sense. I think he should have been one of the followers, like follower bullies, and not the lead bully. But the kids do end up somewhat redeeming themselves. Especially the one that was his friend, because they do come to an understanding. And that's actually where Oliver learns the truth that his mom lied to him. That becomes a major plot point. So he's dealing with bullying. He's dealing with parents that are splitting. And of course, he may or may not understand all of it or any of it. So Larry is preying on him. And so you have, the mom kind of forces a sleepover. I believe it's a speech therapist, says he should interact with other people, maybe have a sleepover or a play date or something. So they have a sleepover, and Larry attacks the kids. And that's where I started to sympathize with the kids a little bit, because it's like, okay, I don't really want Larry to get them. I know they were mean to him. And of course they tell their parents that Oliver did this to them, even though the table moved by itself. And this kid, the one that was his friend, gets picked up by Larry by the throat. So he's just floating there, because of course you can't see Larry unless you're looking through a phone or something. So they, that of course has everyone on Oliver saying, he did this to them, even though he didn't. Of course that helps him to mend his friendship with the kid. So you have the mom trying to deal with all this stuff. The dad, his whole arc is he eventually has to learn that, wow, it does take a lot to take care of this kid. It shows him with, I've had similar notebooks like this guy has. It's like, okay, here's where these appointments are and things like that. Here's this doctor's appointment. Here's this therapy appointment. We got to do this. It's for school. It's got all the sticky notes sticking out of it. I've seen and had similar notebooks like that with my son. So I liked that his arc was he had to learn. And here's where I'm going to be talking really about the ending, because, and I will set it up, but I did like his arc for the most part. I'm not saying he needed to get back with the mom. Me and my ex raise our son together, week on at my house, week on at her house, and we go back and forth, and we both get our time with him, and we both have to deal with the ups and downs. So I'm not saying that this movie had to have a happy Hollywood ending where the parents now have an understanding and they love each other again. That's not what I'm saying, and you'll see where I'm going. Okay, so Oliver decides that he's going to go with Larry because his mom lied to him. And that's just his understanding. It's like, I want a friend and you tried to take my friend away, so you're not my friend, right? But she finds a way to convince him, no, you need to stay with me, in a couple different ways. And I mentioned SpongeBob in the intro because, man, SpongeBob is all over it's all over this movie. One coughing fit later. This kid is always watching SpongeBob. And so it finds out that there's a time where she notices when he's humming the SpongeBob theme during a very tense moment that the SpongeBob theme calms him down. So, because she was like mad at him for something. I think it was, I don't remember why she was getting really upset with him. But he starts humming the SpongeBob thing. She's like, does that calm you down? And so she uses that later. But yeah, SpongeBob is a big part of helping this family in the end. Okay, so the main thing is Larry gets out. He chases him. They go to the field where the phone was thrown out. And of course, if there's no electricity, Larry can't thrive. But of course, there was a phone there. So I knew it was going to come back. And again, I wouldn't have a problem if the ending was better. Because, hey, a false sense of security, fine. In a horror movie, of course. But here's where the movie really lost me. Okay, I had a feeling it was going to happen. This movie deserves a happy ending, right? It's one of those movies where, especially, look, again, I know I'm probably more connected to these characters than other people might be, given that I can identify. So maybe I wanted to see them thrive. I wanted to see them survive. I wanted to see them win. But I knew they were going to do this, and they did it. The kid's going to go with Larry, and the mom grabs Larry's hand instead, and it's like, I'll be your friend. And I knew you were going to do that. Now, I would have been fine with them doing that see, this is really where they should have stepped up the kid being a hero, because it would have made the movie amazing. Again, not the horror aspect, but the story-wise aspect. It would have made it great. Because if the kid, with his autism, had some special ability to stop Larry, and the mom could have survived, again, you don't have to get the parents back together. It just could have been, they share the responsibility now. They're separated, but they share the responsibility. They both know that their son needs them both, whether they're together or not. That should have been the ending. The kid should have had some sort of way. I don't know what it was. I haven't given it that much thought, but I would have loved it if somehow the kid's special need, somehow his autism, made it to where he could stop Larry somehow. I think that would have been a better ending than the mom sacrificing herself. Now, granted, he does finally, in this moment, again, it's a fine ending in a way, because the kid finally does look her in the eye, and he knows his mom loves him, and that works, right, in a way. But wait, just wait, because then it gets kind of dumb. Because if they would have left it there, I could have accepted it. I wouldn't have loved it, but I could have accepted it. So no, the mom sacrificed herself, and the kid's out in the middle field just like upset, right? He's out in the woods or the field or wherever they were, upset. And then you move on to the dad had to take responsibility, right? Okay, so the mom has sacrificed herself. Of course, they can't explain how she's missing. She's just missing, even though the kid knows and the dad knows what really happened to her, right? And I thought the kid would have a way to save her. Of course, he didn't. But excuse me. The kid is giggling downstairs in the dark, and the dad gets up, and he hears the giggling. And he runs down, he hobbles down. He's on a cane. He hobbles to the stairs, gets out his phone, and looks at her because he sees his kid swinging in the air by himself. Oh no, Larry's back. No, of course not. No, Mom's a ghost now. And Mom's a ghost, and she's playing with her kid. And Dad's okay with that, which, again, I understood what they were trying to do. I really do. But they could have left it that he knows Mom loved him. You didn't have to have that supernatural part at the end as a fake scare that, oh no, we may not have stopped Larry. Even though they didn't even really stop Larry. There was just a sacrifice to get him out of there. He's going to go after another kid someday, I'm sure. So yeah. Of course, the kids do take a bit of a pact that no one will be alone, so Larry can't come after him again. It was almost kind of like It. But yeah, the ending just really hurt it for me. Again, I know what they're trying to do, and at least they just didn't have Larry win, even though he's still out there. But no, the kid should have been the hero. Yes, have the mom sacrifice herself, right? Do all the same stuff. But instead of Larry being able to pull her through, I don't know. If you're going to have a supernatural movie where, love is the answer, have the kid being able to grab his mom and pull her away from Larry, right? Or have him, now knowing that he loves his mother, understanding love for his mother, grab Larry's hand, and then Larry can't take him, or it hurts Larry that he's not lonely anymore. I don't know. It would have been better than what they did. So anyway, yeah, while I appreciate the hero in this being a special needs kid and parents, one that needs to learn what it takes to take care of a special needs kid and one that knows what it's like to take care of one, I can appreciate that. But as a horror movie and the ending, no, I can't recommend it to really anybody. Again, despite my appreciation for parts of it, no, there wasn't anything original here that made me go, man, everyone really needs to see Come Play. That's going to be all for this edition of Talkin Movies. If you like what you've heard here, please subscribe to the Real Gino YouTube channel. Like this video. You have anything to say about Come Play, please feel free to leave a comment in the section below. Till next time, I am your host, the Real Gino Reynolds. See you later.